Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I'd like to talk about breaking things. Yeah, this happens. If you are going to do DIY projects involving either musical instruments, musical production, videography, any sort of art, or creative endeavor where you're using your hands and you're physically creating things, or you're interfacing with machines in order to create things to share with others, things are going to break. There is no question. I don't know how many times that I've been in the middle of a project on a guitar doing some very detailed woodworking, and then I either slip, or a router fails, or I didn't tighten something properly before I turn on a power tool, and there goes 10 hours of work. Now, it's easy to get really mad and really upset at yourself. It's easy to take whatever object it is that you're working on that has just broken or that you broke and just summarily smash it, or throw a tantrum, or whatever it is your natural predilection in that given situation. My default setting is usually to smash something. But over the years, I've learned that almost anything that goes wrong during a project of any kind that's a DIY, you don't want to go and spend money, you don't want to break it and then have to take it to somebody else. When you're in the middle of a DIY endeavor, things are going to happen that are unforeseen. Things are going to happen that are going to make you unhappy. But almost always, I find a way to either repair it, move past it, or just take a deep breath, let it sit for a while, and come up with a viable solution in the long term. That is the message of this video, is just kind of discussing, so you run into a problem. What do you do when you hit a wall? When you feel like, I've put in all this time, I've put in all this effort, and now it's just fallen to pieces in front of my eyes, or your eyes, or whoever's eyes. And a good example is right now. I'm recording down here in the studio. In the past 2 weeks, I've had some technical issues with my rig down here, and it caused me to have to shift gears rapidly and either abandon the shoot in the studio space to go to the shop, or to settle for a little bit lesser quality in a particular video. I only had to compromise once, so I feel like that was okay. Now it appears I have everything up and running. And the way that I had to go about that was just trial and error, being calm and carefully going through every single, little setting and every single little piece of equipment that could have been causing the problem. And I did eventually find that I had made some mistakes, or the computer had reset itself in an odd way, and I had not anticipated that. And it confused me, and it irritated me, and it frustrated me. But by staying calm and coming back to it and leaving it alone, like for up to a week, and just going, man, I wonder what's happening. I just don't get it. I figured it out. And everybody has that capability to, via Google, via your own, native abilities, you can figure out just about anything, and you can fix it yourself without having to go, I need to buy new equipment, or I need to, take something to a repair shop. Just take the extra time to sit and really think about what has happened and how you might, be able to solve it. I mean, in guitar work, it happens all the time. You're working on something and you either strip a screw, or like I said, if you're doing some really heavy duty, like, woodworking things, a slip of a file, a power tool that goes awry, those things can really create huge problems for your instrument and for your mental health. But just always realize that if you step back from it, walk away, think about it, accept what has happened. That's one of the hardest things, is to go, man, this happened, and I have to accept that I made a mistake and that it's gone horribly wrong. After you get through the acceptance phase, which can take some time, you just have to search for those solutions and just really, take the deep breath, walk away, and think about, okay, well, come up with options. Maybe I could, replace that chunk of wood with, I've got some wood just like that with a similar grain pattern. Maybe I could make a plug and glue the plug in and then sand it smooth, And that's a solution in that scenario. Let's say that you've mangled a fret while you're attempting just to, do a little bit of leveling on a couple frets, and the rest of the guitar is perfect and you've mangled a fret. What can you do? Maybe you have similar fret wire. Maybe it doesn't even need to be replaced and just needs a proper crown and polish that will bring it into line with the rest. Or maybe you do have to replace it, and that's not the end of the world either. You just, remove the fret, put a new fret in, and do what you need to do to get that leveled out. Like I said, I kind of detailed, technical issues are rife, especially if you're going to be doing things like presenting yourself to the world, like I'm doing right now in this video. There are a million different little technical things that can go wrong. None of us are, at least most of the people that I know that do this sort of thing, or musicians or DIY people, we're not like trained professionals. It's not like I took 5 years of college to learn videography or understand all this equipment innately somehow. It's a learning curve. It's a learning process. And it's that way when you're doing the creative work of, let's say, you're writing a song, painting a picture, shooting a video, writing something that you wish to present to the public, whatever it is. The creative work is one thing, but then there's the technical side of it. And now in this day and age, creatives are expected to be their own videographer, their own publisher, their own record label, their own everything via social media and via all these wonderful little technological things that we now have to be able to share. But realize that it's not always going to work, and it's not always going to work the first time or the 100th time. And when you make a mistake, no matter what it is that you're working on, just know that if you allow yourself the time and allow yourself to process, allow yourself to make the mistake, eat the pain, and then come back and go, hey, you know what? I'm not stupid and I'm not incapable. It's just mistakes happen. Accidents happen. That's why they're called accidents. And I realize that a lot of what I am saying is patently obvious. But in the moment, it's not obvious, because when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the middle of doing something and it means a lot to you and you want to share that experience with others, it can be an existential crisis in that moment. And just kind of going through like, oh, what will I do when something goes wrong? I think that is a valuable exercise that all of us should practice in one way or another, or at least be mentally prepared for. So I thank you so much for watching. The subscriptions are going up. I'd like to see a lot more comments. Please do hit the subscribe button if you've made it this far. Even if you didn't make it this far, I hope you did hit the subscribe button before this point in the video. Anyway, we will see you next time with more content, and I look forward to it. Take care and have a great day.